Thank you for watching Conscious Consumer Network. The live stream broadcast is free to view. You can pause and rewind live broadcasts to catch up, or view shows at a later date by accessing our free archives of all shows. Check out our broadcast guide to see what's on. You can show your support by donating to our network support fund. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or subscribe to the monthly newsletter for updates. We thank you for supporting free and independent media.
Hi guys, my name is Pejman Parchami. I live in Sweden, and I'm going to be doing a PowerPoint presentation about human values and how the Venus Project views it. It's going to be around 20 minutes. So I'm going to get the PowerPoint going. All right. So I'm going to start with a little bit of background. Today I'm a point of contact for Sweden, and it all started out 5-6 years ago for me when I saw a movie called The Zeitgeist, and I really found that movie interesting, or documentary. It was very interesting to me. And in that movie, I saw an old man, and he was trying to tell me something. And I had no idea what he was talking about. And I had great difficulty getting into it. So I mostly ignored that last half hour where he went deeply into trying to describe his vision. But somehow I got back to that. And I spent a lot of time listening to his lectures, looking at his videos. I found all the free material first, and then I bought some CDs from the Venus Project's homepage, and I listened to those for a very long time. And sometimes I sit and wonder if anybody has listened to this material as much as I have, because it was a lot. For 2 years, I really dug deep all the way in. And when I listened to all that material, I had nothing more. I decided to go to Florida and meet him and Roxanne. And it was a great experience. If I could give a summary of my experience, was that when I was there, he didn't give me any new information, because I knew what he was going to say before he said it, because he was going through the basics, because there were a lot of new people, so he doesn't go into any specific topic. But the experience I had, which when I have met a couple of people which I admire for their knowledge, what can happen is that you feel somehow judged because of their great accumulation of knowledge over such a long time. So you feel a little bit small. But when I met Jack Fresco, I didn't feel that way. I felt that he accepted the questions I had, and that was the level I was on. He didn't judge them as good or bad. And I think that today's topic has a lot to do why he doesn't judge people. He doesn't look at them and say, you should know more. So today's topic is about human values. And why are we going to be talking about this? I'm just going to give a short intro. It's because the way we are brought up is to feel that human values are locked up inside of us. You know, we're born with specific values that we somehow bring out of ourselves. And if you talk about it a little bit, some people will say, yeah, but some things you can change, but a couple of them you can't. And this is important, because if you feel that some things can't be changed, it means that you can't solve problems regarding those things, because it's fixed. If you say to yourself, that is fixed, no, doesn't matter what you do, you can't solve that, then you can't think about it. You can't think about solving problems. And that is why this topic is so important. But I'm going to bring you back to when I was a little kid, when I was around 10 years old. We didn't have many channels back then. I had 5 channels, and then we didn't have YouTube and those things. So around midnight, Discovery, when it used to show documentaries and interesting programs, I don't know what happened to that channel, but they used to, at around midnight, show documentaries about Second World War. And I was fascinated with it. I just sat and watched that a lot. And it got me thinking about a lot of things. And later on, I had a discussion with an older person. I would call them a grown-up when I was 10 years old. And that person said to me, it's very important to try to be normal. And having seen a lot of documentaries about Second World War, and I know what they did to the people they didn't like, I said to that person that what the Germans or the Nazis did, that was normal. So I can't accept normal as good or bad. I can't accept that. And that was the first time I felt that I had a legitimate argument to a person much older than me. And I felt that that was an important way of looking at that situation. And that opened up a lot of ways of thinking about things for me. I didn't always try to look at what should I do, or that is what people do, then it's okay. I wasn't like that. I used to always try to think in different terms regarding everything. But I had great difficulty putting this together by myself. But I got help when I watched these videos that Jack Fresco talks about. He helped me put these things together. And today's topic, it is the key. I would say the first key that you get, that you need to understand to see a better world. If you want to see change, then you must try to look at this material, not just by the things I said, but you got to look up more material. Because human values, if you want to see this kind of world, you have to change human values. If you want to see a better world, this is the way. At the stage we are at today, we have to start with talking about human values. What shapes our behavior? And if you skip this part, if you decide, no, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm just going to talk about a better society and everything that that means, I promise you, you will have to come back to this conversation. Maybe in 5 minutes from where you started, or maybe 5 hours in. But you can't skip human values. It is a must when discussing a new type of world. So I'm going to try to give a definition of what I mean when I say human values. If we see a person dance and we think that is good or bad, or we are not concerned at all with it, that is what I'm talking about. That is something we have been brought up to look at and have a thought about or opinion about. Let's take a movie. I'm going to pick Dirty Dancing, and you will see in a minute why I chose this movie. But in this movie, at the end of the movie, they have a dance scene. And why I chose this movie is because me and my daughter, we used to watch this a lot, particularly this last scene. And we used to have our own dance routine. So I watched that particular scene maybe 100 times. And in that last scene, the father of the daughter that is dancing is not having a good time, is not enjoying it. And I would say that he was never brought up to enjoy that kind of dancing. It went against everything he saw as normal. His daughter was not supposed to be doing it. But in that room, he was changed by the people around him. His wife told him to sit his ass down, and he saw that other people accepted it. He didn't fully accept it, but he was shaped by that experience. What had brought him with other thoughts before he reached that conclusion was the books he had read, the movies he had seen, and the type of dancing which he felt is the correct way to dance. And if you had sat down with him before he saw his daughter dance, and you said, come on, think outside the box, stop limiting yourself, he couldn't. We can never step out of the box that we're in. The only thing we can do is expand it. And it's our new experiences that help us expand that box. So environment is what's shaping our behavior. All the experiences and the environment that we live in, that is what we are. But people have great difficulty when you bring up this type of conclusion that you're shaped by your behavior, by your environment and the experiences. The first example they try to discuss with you is they will say that, well, I know children are so different. You know, they come from the same household. They can be twins. They went to the same school, had the same parents, but they're so different. How come? Well, it's like the experience I told you earlier, which I had with Normal. It was a short conversation. It was 1 minute, but it had a lifetime effect on me. So it doesn't have to be long exposures. It can be a very short experience that can change a lot about how you view the world. So if you observe children and you spend a lot of time with them, you will notice that they usually never say anything that surprises you. If you are observant, they never say anything outside of the references that you have been given to them. But what they do is that they mix the things that they are taught into new patterns. And people that are not observant, they say that is individuality. You know, that is from within. And that's what I would say you're wrong, because you missed out that it was a combination of the things that they have been exposed to. So we all have that mix inside of us, you know, different experiences coming together and shaping our behavior. But the more we are mixed, the more difficult it becomes for us to communicate with each other. So the closer we are, the similar we are, the easier it is for us to talk with each other. And that is why it is more appropriate for us to have similar values about different topics. And I know that sounds very scary to a lot of people because we have been brought up to emphasize individuality. And I thought it was a pretty strange statement the first time I heard it. But I think a couple of examples will help you see it in a different way. If you were sitting in a plane and the captain would reach back and just shout out in the cabin that he was going to do something different because he's an individual. This is what he wants to express. And he would say, I'm going for an upside down landing. I don't think we would applaud his individuality. We don't want that. We want predictability. We would like him to land the plane just like everybody else. And that's what society does with us as well. If we want to have a driving license, society tells us how they would like us to view and value driving. And they test us. They don't allow us to just go for it. No, you got to test it. You got to show us that you know the right values for driving. And if we didn't do that, I think we would have a lot of problems regarding a simple task like driving. How we would park the car, how we would drive, if everybody did whatever they felt like doing. And now we get into a trouble area because When we're talking about, okay, so we have to give the correct values, we have difficulty knowing what is the correct values, because that is the automatic question when somebody says that we must have the correct values. Yeah, but what are the correct values? How much should we spice up food? How much garlic, how much salt, how much whatever we would like to see. We don't know the amounts, and we try to guess, and that's what our society does today. It guesses. But let's take an example and see if I can clarify it for you. If I'm going to pick a movie, The Martian with Matt Damon. He has landed on Mars and he's having great difficulties. And he concludes that he would like to go home. That's what he wants. He doesn't want to stay there anymore. So he has a goal in mind. He knows where he's going. And that is the most important part of knowing what is the correct values. If you don't have a goal, then you don't know what values to have. And he concluded that he needed more food. That was his first step of survival, that he needed to grow more food. And when he grew food, if he had kept his old values and said, well, I'm going to eat as much as I always have, then he would have had a lot of trouble because he wouldn't have survived to get home. So he had to change his values to reach his goal. And can we do that on a global scale? We're doing it today already. But the only difference is that it is not synced with the world as a one place. It's different places with different values for their particular spot on planet Earth. And you see this. You see one type of goal that we have all around the world, and that is profit. And profit creates this kind of randomness. It goes all over the place because society doesn't have a goal. It has a goal which is profit. But profit doesn't create straight lines. It goes wherever it is more profitable to be at the moment. When you see a city like the ones that Jacques Fresco recommends that we build, this is not just a city. It is a city with a goal in mind, something he wants to achieve. Because if you're in a hurry, you don't want to take a detour. You want to go for a straight line towards the things that you want, those things that will help you reach a better world. Let's say that. A city that is designed to create a better world. Then you want to have a city like this. So this was a little bit about human values today and how they are changed. I'm going to talk a little bit about future values. This is my own thoughts about it, and let's see how it leads. So let's talk about transportation. The new thing is Tesla's Hyperloop. And these are some ideas that Jacques Fresco, he talks about it in the 70s, but it's coming out now. So going from San Francisco to LA in 35 minutes, is this the future of travel? I would say that the ultimate travel is no transportation at all. I saw a movie a couple of days ago where they had a particular candy. It's called Junior Mints. They don't sell them in Sweden. And I wondered how they tasted. But I wasn't going to take the flight to go to America to buy these. And if the Hyperloop was available, I still wouldn't want to go that far to get some candy. But when I was at my local store, they have an American section. And I found those Junior Mints right there. And I thought to myself, well, that's great. I didn't have to travel anywhere. They were right next to my house. So in a world when travel is made available to all people, Would you like to travel as much? If it's there for your use, but you have things that you want available next to you, would you still travel? Today we do that. It isn't always because we enjoy travel. It is because we have been brought up to think that this is what we do. This is, you work 90% of the time doing a thing that most people don't enjoy, so you can have that. Now, I wouldn't say even 10%, but 1% of travel, hopefully, so you have something to help you survive until next year. But in a world where you're given the opportunity to work with the things that you want to work, with people that enjoy doing the same type of work, helping you, and somebody would come to you and say, hey, do you want to travel? I think a lot of people would say, you better give me a good reason, because I am at the place that I want to be today. So what is happening over there? So this was my thoughts about human values. And if you have any questions for me, particularly about this lecture, you can contact me on Facebook. And if you want to learn more, because if this is a new concept for you about human values, you need to go and check out the Venus Project's homepage, or look at YouTube, search for values, Jacques Fresco, and you will find a lot. And it's going to help you to see the world in a better way, a more productive way for solving problems. I'm just going to shut this PowerPoint down. And I've been holding on to these for a couple of days, and I look forward to enjoying them right about now. And I'm very happy I didn't have to take the Hyperloop to go and buy them. So thank you guys for listening, and I hope to see you again in the future. Bye.
Thank you for tuning into CCN. This unique network is dedicated to free and independent media. CCN was created with the belief that information is the common heritage of all beings, which is why our live stream high-definition broadcast is easily accessible and free to view. If we want to change the world, we must first change the media. Having produced over 1,000 shows in 2015, which are all archived on YouTube, we look forward to bringing you more groundbreaking, cutting-edge information in 2016. For more information on what is on, please check out our broadcast guide for weekly updates. CCN broadcasts in multiple languages and features some key voices of our challenging times who are all in pursuit of a free, fair, just, sustainable world. CCN belongs to you, the people, and it is up to you all to keep this network on the air. Please contribute to the Network Support Fund or visit the CCN shop. We thank you all for supporting free and independent media.